Okay, so I'm starting with the body here. I got this body from Warmouth. I'm sure that some of you have heard of them before. As you can see, I've already done some dremeling and whatnot. It's not all the way done. I've still got to clean some of this stuff up. I've got to finish Vault Boy here. So try to ignore them and I'll just focus on some of the other things. I went with a Telecaster body, and it's flat, it's solid body. I went with poplar for a couple reasons, really. The main reason, though, is that it's going to be completely painted, so none of the grain stuff is going to show through, which I don't find poplar to be particularly pretty. It's got kind of a greenish hue. I work for a paint company, Sherwin-Williams, and we deal with stains and whatnot. Not for guitars usually, but as anybody who's familiar with staining knows, or anything with semi-transparents, the color of the wood and the grain of the wood would affect the stain, and it will change and alter the color. The final color of a stain depends on the stain color itself, and then the wood color, of course. I don't find poplar to look very good stained. That's seems to be a pretty common belief. But I chose it, because I like the weight of poplar. I'm new to woodworking. I heard it was relatively easy to work with. Like for my dremeling and stuff like that. Had I gone with a harder wood or something, say mahogany, which is absolutely, I think, gorgeous, or having a flame maple, top, which with my dremeling couldn't go with anything with a laminated top or a bound top. It would have, nullified it. So I chose poplar. I got, being that it's a Strat body, I had something to contend with. It's a Telecaster body, but I actually went with, this is a Stratocaster neck mounting cut, not a Telecaster one. That's because I don't like the headstock very much of a Tele. I love Teles, but I don't like the headstock. I also wanted a baritone guitar. And from Warmouth, they make basically replacement necks for Fenders, and there's restrictions on neck cuts and stuff like that. Anyway, so from the factory, I got a rear routed also. I didn't want a big old faceplate, so I got a rear routed Telecaster body with a string through body. I have a Schecter that has a string through body, and that thing holds tune like an absolute champ. So I figured that's got to be part of the reason. So I went with that, and I went with a recessed, basically tune-o-matic bridge, and humbucker pickups. One of the reasons also that I went with the tune-o-matic bridge, not just recessed, but I went with tune-o-matic because of the string spacing. I didn't have to get trembucker pickups, which gave me a lot more options into being able to use the pickups that I wanted to use in the guitar, not what was available in trembucker, which that was a really big thing for me. I see I got a big old hole cut in it. That's to mount a rad meter. It took a little while to find exactly what I wanted. I got this from eBay. It was actually part of, a full-size meter, and I just removed this from it. But this was actually a little better than I had originally hoped to find, being that it has, the atomic little symbol here, little guy on there. I don't know what that's actually called, but it measures rads, or well, it originally did, which for Fallout, gotta have that. So that's going to be in there. It'll be straighter and prettier than that. So that's the body. That's why there's a gigantic hole all the way through it. This is not done. I still have to route the cavity on the back. There's going to be some additional holes here. I'll let you figure out why. You'll see from the final product anyway what these are going to be. There's going to be additional design here, Dremeled in. I'm going to fill all the cavities with glow resin, and this is, there's little nicks and stuff here, but that's temporary. That'll be fixed as I go through the process a little more. Moving on, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and go to the neck. The neck I got here, forgive me if I mispronounce some of this stuff. I don't really, I'm not a wood expert per se. I did my research, but doesn't really say how to pronounce these things. The primary neck wood is called Goncalo Alves, I believe it is. Goncalo Alves, sometimes called zebra wood. I wanted a raw wood for the neck. I love raw wood necks quite a lot. They seem to have less friction. I've played some like Warwick bases and stuff over the years, that have that raw wood feeling, and I just absolutely love that feeling. So I wanted to choose a wood that not only didn't need to be finished, but this wood actually is problematic to finish. So there really wasn't even an option to finish it, which was perfect for me. And I think it's a pretty aesthetic wood. Personally, some people may not find it to be so, but I love it. So ultimately, that's why I went with this. Form meets function for me. I thought it was a double win, maybe a triple win. I don't know. It's a lot of win for me. I went with Palfero for the fretboard. I almost went with rosewood, but Palfero I know from fretless instruments. I don't play fretless instruments per se, but I've handled them and I have played them, even though I suck at them, like cello or violin, for instance. They use Palfero. I personally prefer it to ebony or rosewood. Both of these woods feel like maybe they've been varnished or something. Like they're very smooth. They're almost slick, but they don't have that stickiness to them that some varnishes tend to have, especially when you get sweaty, which is why they use Palfero on fretless instruments. I think it's aesthetically pleasing too. I think that they complement each other the woods complement each other very well. So there's that. And it's 24 frets. As I said earlier, that this is a baritone guitar. Well, this is a baritone neck. Can't remember the exact measurements. They're on warmoth.com. I think it's like 27 5/8 or 28 5/8 or something like that. But it's an extended range neck. It'll probably either be tuned to standard B / drop A, depending. But I might actually up-tune the 1 through 5 strings a step and make this a drop B guitar or standard C. I haven't decided. I'll be deciding that very soon, just not yet. I have a glass cutter over here. That's really not, important what kind it is or anything like that. It's just, it happens to be out and in the way, so nobody bothers asking. That's why it's there. This is just compressed air to, blow out the wood particles and whatnot. Useless information. Moving along, I went with Grover Roto Grip locking tuners. I have these exact tuners on one of my other primary guitars, which is a Brazen Family Brazen Fantasy Elite guitar. I love these tuners. I put locking tuners on everything I have now. It just makes changing strings ridiculously fast and easy. And I love Grover. I have Schallers on my Fender, I think, or they actually might be Fender locking tuners, but still I have locking tuners on everything I play now, except for my bass, which I'll probably do that too. I got these Nuka-Cola caps from somebody on Etsy, and at the moment it escapes me their store name. I regrettably can't remember. I will find it and I'll post a link to it, because I did not make these, and I will not take credit for making these, so I'm really sorry that I don't remember off the top of my head. I will find out. I will link your Etsy store, so you get proper credit for your work, and thank you. I got 10 of these. I only need to use 2. I'm making some custom knob covers with them, which the glass cutter is involved in that process. Moving along, the pickups I chose for this project are from a company called Frog Dog. These particular pickups are called flat faces. I played a guitar a few months back in Carlton Music. It's a family-owned music store in Winter Haven, Florida, which is a great store, by the way. They have some of the most wonderful people in the world on staff there, and young worker there named Chase turned me on to these pickups. They come stock in most guitars made by a company called CMG, which are absolutely fantastic. I will be buying one in the next few months. They're out of the CMG guitars are out of Georgia. They're owned by a man named Chris Mitchell, who I've actually talked to regarding these pickups as well as his guitars. Small operation, but they build really high quality stuff. They get extensive testing before leaving their factory, which is an advantage when you have small companies. You know, if you buy from, like, a guitar, for instance, from Fender, you know, they're producing hundreds of thousands of guitars. Their quality control is very good, but you know, when you build 400 guitars in a year, you have a little more time to devote into the specifics, you know, just getting everything perfectly dialed in. Same goes with these. These are hand wired in Oklahoma by a man named, I think, Jerry West, if I'm remembering correctly. But I picked these pickups out because they're just very even. When I was playing a CMG Ashley guitar with these pickups in it, a set of these, and I just loved it. It kind of let, you know, if you have a decent amp, for instance, which I have access to or own, several amps that I really love, with, you know, some quality stomp boxes running into them. This kind of just lets your equipment that you paid a lot of money for shine. You know, they're EQ'd pretty flat, so my amp can be my amp. I almost, and still might, you know, depending on how these end up working in a baritone, I may go to some lace pickups, or, you know, may just go back to my old trusty Duncan JB Duncan Jazz combo. Not sure. I like to have different pickups and different guitars so that I can get some different sounds if I want them. So that's kind of was the logic on this. I like I said, I loved the CMG guitar that I played with these flat face pickups, so I wanted to see how they'd work in my project. So if you've got a store nearby that you can try out a CMG guitar or flat face pickups, I recommend you do it. They're not paying me anything to say this. I was extremely impressed, and if you contact the company, I'd say probably 95% chance that you're going to get the president of the company to respond to you. Who better than the guy that's name, is on the company? It's just second to none in customer service. So, and Chris is, in my exchanges, Chris is just a really nice guy. So contact him if you're interested in looking at his products. Highly recommend both the Frog Dog pickups and CMG guitars. Check them out. I just picked this. These are some lights that I'm going to be using. They're going to be mounted in these three holes here, evenly spaced, of course, to kind of simulate, a wrist-worn Pip-Boy. There's just going to be a switch here. Nothing special, just a switch. Moving on, I just got, Fender switch, to switch between the pickups. Nothing, really special there. I accidentally ordered a Goto Tune-o-matic bridge, which I don't dislike Goto, but I actually had meant to order the Tone Pros, and I clicked the wrong thing through Warmoth, so that's on me. I may stay with it. I may go back to Tone Pro, but then I also found that this company, Frog Dog, makes bridges, and they make a roller bridge replacement for these Tune-o-matics that I'm very interested in. So I think I'm actually going to contact them and purchase one of their roller nuts instead of the standard little V holding Tune-o-matic. I wouldn't say necessarily an upgrade, maybe a side grade. I don't know. A quality bridge is a quality bridge. I think the Goto is a good bridge. I don't like that it doesn't lock into place though and falls out when you unstring the guitar. That's why I like the Tone Pros. I haven't heard this massive tonal improvement that some people claim from going to Goto to the Tone Pro. I've done that swap on my Brazen guitars. I went from Goto to Tune-o-matic. I think it's a little bit louder when it's not plugged in if you strum it, but I didn't see any massive tonal change or any noticeable tonal change at that. My tuning does hold a little better, but part of that was because I also got it set up immediately when I did the upgrade. So I think it was just set up a little better too. I think that everyone's always in search of these magical things that make your tone good, which I think is just utter nonsense sometimes, and sometimes it's real. This matters immensely. Not so much this, or going into more hype that I had mentioned previously. We've got nitrocellulose paint. I did go with nitrocellulose paint, and I will reiterate that this is not a tonal improvement over polyurethanes or any other type of paint. I think that is just utter nonsense, lies, whatever you want to call it, just misguided BS that gets circulated by the guitar community. We're the worst, all of us, collectively. There's so many things we do and say and regurgitate based on no empirical evidence, just word of mouth. Oh, nitro sounds better. Okay. Nitro makes the guitar breathe. No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, it's designed to do the exact opposite of that, but, whatever. It looks good. That's why I'm using it. Nitrocellulose, one of the things that I do like about it, I like the aesthetic function of it. Polyurethane looks great too. Polyurethane is a lot easier to work with. It's a lot faster process of painting. That is a very regrettable thing. For me, under the timetable that I'm on, this is the reason that I'm not going to finish by launch day. No matter what I do, this is going to prohibit me from finishing the guitar by the time Fallout 4 releases. It cannot be done. The cure time on some of this stuff is just too high. It recommends 21 days, for instance, of cure time to buff this, the clear coat. I've heard that you can go as quick as 3 days. I'm going to follow recommended, though. Really, I'm going to kind of go by, some eye tests and also just, feeling it, stuff like that every now and again. After 3 days, I might check it, but I highly doubt that I'm going to start wet sanding and buffing that for at least 15 days. I might wait the full 21. We will see. But again, nitro does not make your guitar sound better. It doesn't affect an electric guitar 0%. Zero. An acoustic, I'd bet money that it would on an acoustic, though. So no argument there, but not an electric guitar whatsoever. Same with the tone wood crap that people are talking about. Frankly, I put zero stock in tone wood either. Just so happens that all the great tone woods are also the pretty cabinet grade woods. I love aesthetics. I had said it before. I love the aesthetics of this wood right here. I want an aesthetically pleasing wood grain. If I'm not painting it as I am with this one will be fully painted, no semi-transparency whatsoever. I would have used something like mahogany if I wasn't fully painting it, with a solid color paint. But that's what tone wood really is, if you ask me. It's a gorgeous wood that people use with semi-transparency, and people's eyes translate that to sounding better. I put no stock in it. I don't want to argue about it or anything. That's just my personal take. I've seen no evidence that actually cites real science behind tone wood. So moving along, before I piss off all the people, that believe in that stuff. Again, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but this here, I got it from Glow Ink. It's their V10 Ultra Green Glow Powder. I did not get this in lieu of paying a lot of money to get their paint. I'm mixing this with a casting resin, an epoxy, that then I'm going to use to fill the cavities that I cut into the wood with my Dremel. So everything that's Dremeled will be filled with a 1 ounce weight of this glow powder mixed with a total of 4 ounces of the 2-part epoxy casting resin. And this is their brightest glowing color. It just so happens that it's the color I had to have, to go with the whole Fallout Pip-Boy screen, which everything, on the Pip-Boy is this glowing green. So Vault Boy here is going to glow green, just like on a Pip-Boy, hopefully. The rest of the guitar is going to be black. I chose black not because any other reason than I just wanted the contrast. I love black. I have a black Stratocaster. Love it. I didn't cop out and go with black because it was easy or anything like that. I actually did want to initially go a different route. But ultimately, some of the routes that I was looking into just didn't have the contrast I needed for this glow resin. Thus, black was chosen. I don't have them out, but as far as volume and tone pots, I went with, I think they're Burns or Borns, I don't know how you say it. I almost went with CTS. I've used CTS in other builds. I've used, in all my builds I've used CTS. But I had heard that Borns tapered a little better. That's another product that I'm gonna give a try because of functionality I heard on another product, on a CMG guitar, as it were. They use the Bourne's volume and tone pots, and I really like the way that they tapered. So gonna give them a shot. You know, I don't think, you know, that's gonna be a big deal one way or the other. You go with a quality volume and tone potentiometers. I don't think they're gonna vary much. I don't see myself, you know, I'm not enough of an aficionado to be like, oh my God, those are so much better than the CTS. If I like them, they stay on. That's the way I operate. If they don't, you know, I'll swap them for CTS. But other than that, you know, no big deal. That's most of the stuff that I'm using. Got a few more things. I'll post them as I go, probably. Sorry it ran a little long, but stay tuned. More videos coming for the Fallout Guitar project. Thanks for watching.